Hello everyone, I hope you are well and looking forward to your summer break. So the purpose of this video is really just to clarify a few bits of information for you ready for starting back to school in September, because I know some of you haven't been in school since March now and you might be feeling a little bit worried that you're not going to know what to do or what routines are going to be like and that things are going to look really different. And so hopefully in this video I will be able to share with you some of the details about what September is going to look like, and also get you not to worry about it, because it's going to be very much the same as when you left it back in March, but we're just going to make sure that we take a few extra precautions just to make sure everybody's nice and safe. But actually, day-to-day things, they're not going to be much different. What you do in your classroom is not really going to be any different to what you've experienced before when you've been in school. So I'm going to talk you through some of the sort of routines in the morning. Mrs. Finney is going to talk to you about what's going to happen at break and lunchtime, and then I'm just going to hopefully go over a few different points about things throughout the day, so that you are really excited and looking forward to coming back, because we are so excited to have you all coming back to us in September. We cannot wait and we have missed you so much. So we are so pleased that we are going to see you all again very soon. So we just want to make sure that you are as excited as we are about coming back, and that you don't have any worries about not knowing what to do or where to go or what things are going to be like, and that you're happy with everything that's in place. So the first thing that I'm going to talk to you about is your routine in the morning. And so we're going to take some time now to go outside and just have a look at what the routine first thing in the morning is going to be. So when you come in the mornings or when you leave in the afternoons, you can use any of the gates to come into school. So I know those of you that have been into school over the last few months, we've had a bit of a one-way system going on where you could only come in and then go out a certain way. But that's not going to be in place in September, because you're going to be taking your time to come in the mornings. You're going to have quite a time period in which everybody can come in, and because you're going to be going home at different times, it means that actually we don't need to have a one-way system, because there should be enough space for everyone to get in safely every day. So if you are coming in through one of the gates, you can come in through the front, you can come in through the side gate, you can use Bursville Gate, or the one at the back that leads on to Pickers Ditch that then goes in the direction of Burrs Road or Thorpe Road. So you just need to pick which is best for your route into school and the way in which you travel. You might decide that actually, because extra gates are open, that you can now cycle, walk or scooter to school in the mornings, because it might be a little bit easier for you. So you just need to decide which way you're going to come in and out. What I will say is that because we haven't got a one-way system, if there is somebody who is also coming in or out of the gate at the same time, you just need to show them your excellent manners, which I know you always have anyway, and just make sure that you let other people pass, keeping a safe distance from them when you do. So this is the back gate, and I'm just going to show you this because some of you might not have come in this way before, because this gate hasn't been open for quite some time actually. So you can come in through that gate and you can see that that leads us onto the back of our school field, and we've got Bursville's gate and fence running along the side there. And then you just follow the path and that will take you all the way down to the playground if you choose to come in or out that way. So at the end of the day, we have spoken about what happens where your class is going to be dismissed from, and we said you don't really need to worry about that too much because your grown-up will know exactly where you need to be and when. But if you go to after school club, or actually if before school you come into breakfast club, you just need to know that that's probably going to be, whilst you're in the club, very similar to what you've had before. Apart from, we will just be encouraging you to either play in your year 3, 4 year groups or your 5, 6 year groups, and not really move around too much from there. You'll also have your own resources, so if you're in year 3, 4 you'll share resources, and if you're in year 5, 6 you'll share resources, and that's just to make sure that we can clean them, and that not too many people are touching all of the same things at the same time. So if you are breakfast club, what's going to happen is in the mornings, rather than you coming in through the main doors past the office, that's going to be shut in the daytime, so you won't be able to come in that way. But the side gate will be open, so the gate at the front of the school where you walk down the side past the Year 3 classrooms, that will be open and you can come down there and onto the playground. And then the adults that are in Breakfast Club, they will be there to meet you and take you into Breakfast Club in the hall. So again, as they take you through, you'll just sanitise your hands and then you'll go through to Breakfast Club as you ordinarily would have done. At the end of the day, if you go to after school club, so that's going to be in the music room, and you are, again, you're going to be taken down there by your adult. Need to wash your hands before you go into after school club, and then you will just have the same time as normal that you would have done. But all that's going to be a bit different is if you're being picked up, rather than your grown up radioing from the front office. As I said, the office is going to be shut, so we can't use radios and things there either. So rather than being on a radio, what's going to happen is at certain times, all of the children who are going home at that time, so for example, if your pickup time is 4 o'clock, all of the children who are leaving at 4 o'clock will be taken outside the front of the school and their grown-ups will collect them from there. So we're going to have a 4 o'clock pickup, a 5 o'clock pickup and a 6 o'clock pickup. So when your grown-up books your times, they just need to choose one of those as their pickup times, and then you will be brought out to them at either 4, 5 or 6 o'clock. Now, there's no breakfast and after school club for the first few days that we're back, because we come back partway through the week, but we'll be running those clubs from the Monday, which is the 7th of September. At the moment, because we need to just make sure that everything else is running really well, we're not going to start any other after school clubs. So if you normally did a sports club or cheerleading, or art club, none of those clubs are going to be on for the moment, but we are going to be reviewing that as we go through the term. So at the minute, it's just going to be after school club and breakfast club that are going to be running. But obviously we will review that, and if we can, we will then start those other clubs as soon as possible. But in the meantime, obviously, those children that normally go to those clubs, you just need to make sure that has been booked in advance. So you need to make sure if you're going to one of those clubs, your grown-up has completed the forms and made a booking so that you can attend.
Hi everyone, I hope you're keeping well. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what break and lunch times will look like for you in September when you come back or when you join us. So break times aren't going to look very different to how they have done before. You'll still have your normal 15-minute break in the morning, and it will be in your phases. So years 3 and 4 will go out together, and years 5 and 6, just as you did before. So we ask that you continue with that really good hand hygiene that I'm sure you're fab at by now, and that you use the hand sanitisers as you go out to break. You can then play with the children in your class, and you can play with equipment, and that's fine. You can share equipment and you can play any game that you would like to play that you're normally allowed to play within school. You can also play with other children that are in different classes in your phase, so friends that might have gone to a different class, that's okay. We just ask that you try your best to do a little bit of social distancing with them and choose games that mean you don't get quite so close, because they're outside of your class bubble. But apart from that, break times aren't going to look much different. There'll be tuck as normal, so you can, or your parents can order that online for you, and Dan will make flapjacks and prepare fruit and all those things that he was doing before. Okay, so that's all the same, pretty much the same as it was. So lunch times are going to look a little bit different. You'll still be having your lunch in phases, years 3 and 4, and then years 5 and 6, just like we've done in the past. Dan is creating a special lunch menu which has a hot dinner option that you can book, or you can book a school packed lunch. He has been trying some new recipes and some really exciting things to go in the school packed lunch, so they might look a little bit different to how you remember them if you've had that before. If you choose to book a hot dinner, you will be eating in the hall. And if you book a school packed lunch, you will be eating in your classrooms with the other children who might bring a packed lunch from home. So that will mean that we can spread everyone out a little bit more space in between you, and that will look a bit different to normal. So if you have a hot dinner and you come into the hall, there will be a little bit of a different system to the one that you might have been used to before. So if you're year 3 and this is all new to you, so you won't have a different system, this is just how it will look for you. You will come in through the doors at the back of the hall. I'm going to turn my phone so you can see it, the yellow doors at the back. You will come in through there and you will go all the way down and round to get your lunch from the blue doors over there, and that's Dan's servery, which he's redecorating at the moment, so that's going to look really nice by September. So you will then take your packed lunch and you will sit at the back end of the hall by the PE wall bars, and there'll be lots of space. There'll be 4 big tables, so there'll be lots of space that we can space you out. Year 4, when you come in, you will be coming in through the doors that you would normally use for assembly. Okay, so you will walk along, you'll get your dinner from Dan at the servery, and you will sit in this end of the hall. So I'll put some tables out to show you how they're going to look, and you'll again have lots of room to space out. So in the middle of the hall, you can see that we've got some tape down and there's a nice space, and that will be an area that you can't go into. Okay, so there'll be year 3 at one end and year 4 at the other end of the hall, and then some space in between. Okay, and that will mean that we can just keep a little bit of extra room between people that wouldn't normally be in your class or in your bubble. So years 5 and 6, you'll have exactly the same system. Year 5, you will come in through the yellow doors at the back of the hall, and you will get your dinner and then sit towards the back of the hall, just as year 3 did. And year 6, you will use the doors that we would normally use for worship. You'll come in and get your dinner, and then you will sit at the front of the hall. So that's what lunchtimes are going to look a little bit like. When you've had your lunch, you can go outside and play, and just like we said with break time, you'll be able to play with other people that are in your class or in your year group. And we're just going to work really hard on that hand hygiene to make sure that we are washing our hands and using the sanitizer before lunch, and again after lunch before you go outside to have your lunch playtime. And then again when you come back in as well before you go into your classroom. So that's what lunches are going to look like and break times when you come back in September. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you all. It's been lovely to see you if you've been in school at any point. Have a lovely summer, and I'll see you soon.
All right, so a couple of things that I just want to kind of clarify with you in case you've got questions around this. So about bringing things in from home, so pencil cases and things like that. So we have actually got pencil cases for all of you in school already. They've all been made up, they've all got your names on, and they are all waiting for you when you come into school. So you don't need to worry about bringing any stationery in at first, because we've got all of that covered. We've got all of your equipment that you will need here, so you really don't need to be bringing anything in from home. I know that sometimes some of you do like to have a little sneaky toy in your pocket that you like to bring out for breaks and lunches. We don't normally let you do that anyway, and so that rule is still the same, is that you shouldn't be bringing any toys or games in from home unless you're asked to do so by your teacher. So I'm going to have to say that, you know, toys and games from home, you're not bringing them in, I'm afraid. That's the school rule that's been there before, and that's going to be the same when you come back in September. With regards to when you're in your class, so when you're in your class, and I know that some of you have been into school and you've been in bubbles in school that have been a mixture of lots of different children, but when you're in your class groups, your class bubble, when you're there, you will be sitting next to friends as you normally would do. You'll be using the reading area. You will be sharing resources, and all that will happen is we will just be making sure that there's lots of hand washing going on and that the equipment is cleaned regularly in between uses. But whilst you're with your class group, so in your lessons, your day will pretty much look exactly as it has done, but probably just with a bit more extra hand washing on your daily timetable. With regards to playing with your friends, if you're playing with a friend in class, that's absolutely fine. If you're playing with somebody, perhaps you've got a friend who is in your year group but is in a different class, you will have lots of time to play with them at break and lunchtime, because you'll all be having the same lunch across your year group together. But what we do say is that if you're playing with somebody who is in a different class, to try and just keep a little bit further apart than you normally would do. So if normally you play games that actually involve lots of physical contact between you, just remember that at the moment we are physically distancing from lots of people on a daily basis, and the same needs to happen with some of your friends at school. But that doesn't mean you can't have lots of fun and think of lots of games, and the adults outside will be thinking of lots of games as well that you can play, which are going to be amazing and really exciting and really fun, but just mean that we're not kind of putting our hands on each other as perhaps as much as we usually would. So with regards to hand washing, obviously I said at the beginning of the day, when you come in, you'll be using the sanitisers that are at the doors when you come in. And if you come into a classroom that's in the Year 6 block, if you're in 5N or the Year 6 classes, then you will also have sanitisers when you come in through your classroom. So there'll be those initial opportunities. You'll be washing your hands quite frequently throughout the day, and that's going to probably be something that's going to be a bit extra and a bit different to how it has been before. You've been very good at hand washing ordinarily, but it's just going to be a little bit more thorough when you come back to school, and you're going to have sort of sanitisers in your classroom as well that you'll use throughout the day. So for example, if you're going out for PE, you'll be asked to wash your hands before you go out. And when you come back in, you'll wash your hands again, which is probably something you haven't done when you've been here before. But you'll soon get into the routine of that, and you'll soon sort of know automatically when that all needs to happen. But for the first few days, your adult will help you, and they will be reminding you throughout the day as to when you need to wash or sanitise your hands. So something else that's probably a little bit different that you will be familiar with, but probably not using as much as you perhaps should have done when you were in school before, is just around good health hygiene as well. So if you've got a bit of a snotty nose, bit of a sniffle, you've got a bit of a runny nose, you need to be making sure that you blow your nose into a tissue. There'll be tissues in every classroom, and then you dispose of that tissue straight away into one of the lidded bins that will be in your classroom. That's really important, and that you wash your hands afterwards. So once you've got rid of that tissue, you also give your hands a really good wash. The other thing that you need to remember to practice is, I'm sure you have seen and been doing lots of at home, if you have got a bit of a tickly throat, got a bit of a cough maybe, or something is making you cough, you need to make sure that you're coughing into your elbow rather than coughing just out, not putting your hands over your mouth. But I know that ordinarily you're very good at covering your mouth anyway when you're coughing, so I don't see that being a problem, but you just need to make sure that you are coughing into your elbow if you need to whilst you're in school. So when you come back to school in September, as you know, our school uniform has changed. So all of you will be coming back to school wearing a white shirt, which has buttons down the front and a collar, and you'll all be wearing our new school tie. So that's all of the children from years 3 to 6 will all be wearing that as part of their new school uniform. Now, if you are in year 3, you also need to buy and wear one of our new school uniform jumpers or cardigans, which has got the red edging around it. If you're in years 4 to 6, if you want to, you can start wearing that uniform as well. So you can also wear the jumper with the red round it, or the cardigan with the red round it, but you don't have to. So if you've got a jumper or a cardigan that actually still fits you, it's still fine, absolutely like brand new probably, because you haven't really worn it much this year, then you don't need to buy yours just yet. But when you outgrow it, perhaps then you can have a conversation with your grown-up about buying the new one. So at the moment, everybody needs to be wearing the shirt and tie from September, and then the new style school uniform jumpers and cardigans are for the children in year 3, and anybody in the rest of the school that would like to wear it. But children in years 4 to 6, you have that choice. So you can either wear the old style jumper and cardigan or the new style one. And when you go on to the uniform shop, you'll see that there's a year 3 shop which has got your uniform choices in it, and then you've got the year 4 to 6 shop separately. So that brings us to the end of our video, and I do hope that it has helped you understand a little bit about what some of the changes are going to be like in September, But also, because there's not much to really tell you, because there's not much that's really going to change, I hope that you have been reassured and are feeling a lot less worried about what school is going to be like when you come back. I hope that it's going to make you excited for coming back into your new classrooms with your new teacher, and that also you're excited to see your friends again. And if you're not in the same class as your friend, you're going to be as excited as you normally would be, because you're going to see them at break and lunchtime, and as you've heard from this video, you will be able to play with them. So you're not just going to have to play with children in your class, you can mix about and play with children who are in other classes in your year group as well. So hopefully that'll give you lots of things to start thinking about and planning, who you're going to see and what games you might play when you're back to school in September. In your day-to-day classroom life, it's not going to be any different. You're still going to have a great time, lots of learning going on. There's some great learning opportunities. We've been replanning the curriculum whilst you've been away, and so you are going to have an amazing start back when you come back in September. So I do hope that you have a really restful summer, because it's going to be a really busy year next year. We've got lots and lots planned for you. As I said, we are really excited to be seeing you and welcoming you all back to school in September. And I hope you have a lovely summer and are as equally excited as we are. And we can't wait to see you on those first days back. So take care, have a really, really great holiday. And I will see each and every one of you back again, ready and raring to go in your new year groups in the new academic year. Take care, everybody.